I don't know. Lawsuit stuff. All right. Good morning, everyone. How we doing? Let me get the other alerts out here. Yesterday at 5 o'clock. Good. Good morning, everyone. This move up on NFP put a little wrench in what I was expecting for today, but it's okay. I'll make sure that we cover everything that happened yesterday. Pretty happy with the read too. I don't know if Eddie's in here yet, or who may be in here. What's going on, Freedom Trader? How you doing? We did manage to get the losing trade or the losing day on. Oh, I completely forgot about NFP. I wanted to go in on that with the Tradeify account. Oh well. For the move up that we had for the IB yesterday, we missed it by all of like 20 cents. We're just now getting the IB high, which may be a level of significance, may not. But we did end up getting the loss on the IB that we wanted. So pulling up the IB by rejection for a Tuesday on QQQ. We got the break on SPY. SPY broke right at 10:30. Qs is now down to 82%, which I think is pretty close to the number I was looking for. So that is 7 consecutive weeks that it won, and we finally saw the losing trade on it. So it went from 90% all the way back down to 82, 81, 82. Now what we can anticipate is maybe a little continuation into yesterday's range. Ideally, I'd want us to open at like 614.80, but that takes away our inside bar stat because right now we can get rid of that previous day's high from Monday. Our previous day's high is right where we're rejecting at the moment. So that inside bar stat's no longer valid for Qs. I mean, if it was, then we'd be anticipating a break of the low or the high. Yesterday's inside bar stat also did not fulfill on Qs. So both the IB and the inside bar lost. We go and pull up the inside bar stats now. Those are down to, I guess it's not down that much. It was at 81.5, so it dropped 1% yesterday, which isn't too bad. Let's see what the overall drawdown would have been on NFP. So that was a very explosive. It had on M and Q. Looks like it had about a 15-point wick, so it may not have been enough to capitalize on in terms of being risky with that strategy where you straddle at 10 points and 10 points right into the open. That wick down kind of threw a wrench in what you would have been able to play. All right, pull up Apex, and then we will also go and pull up Lucid. No, I'll save Lucid for tomorrow because I don't think the payout's going to be approved on these until after tomorrow. We'll see. That ended up being a 200-point move up, so more than enough to pass any prop account, depending on the size you went in. With a 4 micro on that entire move, that would have been what, $1,600 on 4 MNQ, which is crazy. Looks like we have a little slower start to the stream today. That's okay. I think I got the alert out for it. What's going on, Freedom Trader? How you doing? $800 to pass. Oh, did you get the static accounts, Freedom Trader? I could have sworn it was 2,500 on the 50Ks to pass it. Mike should be fine as well. Yeah, looks like it's popping up. I don't know, not very active on the stream today, huh? That's okay. For QQQ and SPY. SPY is also over previous day. Well, it's right at previous day's high right now. Any pullback that we get into open, we're not going to have a gap fill today. I highly doubt that we're going to, it's a 0.8% gap. I highly doubt we're going to retrace any of this news. We have a 60% chance that it doesn't get filled today, but that's also based on 10 data points over the past 6 months. So the trend is definitely that they shouldn't fill. We very well might get a fill of this. It might go and take the Newswick low. Also, another really good example here of why we use MNQ to trade only and not chart. Look at the variance on these two charts right now. Obviously, it was with the NFP, so it might be a little error on that. But this candle's wick, pretty much non-existent on Qs. It went from 612 to 612.06. 612.10 to 612.06. So a 10-cent wick, 4-cent wick. And then we go over to MNQ, and this was from 25,240 all the way down to 25,225. So it was a 15-point wick. Probably not enough to capitalize on. You may have been lucky enough if you had done like 15 points as opposed to 10 for that straddle, but definitely not enough to capitalize on with that move overall. For QQQ, everything else looks about the same size wick right here, 25,367, and then about the same wick over previous day's high as well, it looks like. Maybe a little bit less on MNQ, but not by much. What's going on, Master Trades? How you doing? Good morning. Can't speak. Can you please unmute me? Yeah, I got you. Sorry, I didn't see you say that. There you go, Freedom Trader. Should be all set now. I thought for sure that those accounts were... What's going on here? There we go. I thought for sure those accounts were 2,500 to pass. Man, the groups are getting all messed up on this group trade from switching over so many. Save there. Put that group on. Beautiful. What were you going to say, Freedom Trader? What about the ICT opening retracement on MES and MNQ? For the data, I usually do like seeing data highs or data lows get swept. I don't think we're going to with how far away those are. We definitely could. It's not off the table, but I just don't think we're going to have that big of a retracement. My guess is this price will probably maintain all the way up to like 25.5. I was looking for going into this week. I was looking for 25.7 on MNQ. So we could definitely proceed all the way up to those levels. I just don't think it's. I think we could push all the way up. I don't think that we are going to retrace that much of this move, though. I don't think we're going to pull back a whole lot. I think this news move is probably going to hold for the majority of the day. If we were closer to the wick down there, say we had this just the opening candle and we had already started retracing it, then maybe I would have looked for the Newswick low. This is just a little too big of a range for me to look for a pullback down that low. I don't think that that's going to play out. Can you show the other screen where the strategy is, the edgeful data? Did it make the post on Twitter? Because it is not. I don't think it sent the alert on everything else. Yeah, it didn't. That's what I thought. That's weird. That's why it's so low. Okay, let's see if we. I figured it didn't put the alert out because there didn't send any updates on Twitter. It's weird. Maybe that's just a StreamYard thing now. Good morning, Brandon. How you doing? I'm sorry, Master Trades. I'm not sure what screen you're talking about. I'd like to see, with how close we are to that Newswick high, I'd like to see that get taken out. I don't think we're going to come. I want to see something like that into the next 15-minute candle if we could. I don't think it's going to come down all that much. And for SPY, same exact thing. SPY should be a little bit stronger. Same thing that did yesterday. It is over the high from Monday. Q's is not. Well, Q's is at it right now. So definitely have a little bit of time left on that. We have another 14 minutes for it to do something. Morning, EXO. How you doing? I'm the guy who has been posting on X tagging you trying to replicate your 30K payout in my Tony accounts. Very nice, Brandon. How's it going so far? Good morning, Simon. How you doing? Yeah, I'm very excited for close today. Very excited for close. I will be sending that payout request in on all 20 accounts, plus the eval that I bought on accident forever ago that for some reason isn't removed yet. What's going on, Mark? Kurt, how you doing? I guess I can't say that long ago. It's only been a month. Day two of PAs took $95 loss yesterday. Well, the good thing is you only have to, with the sizing, you don't have to make that much because of the 20 accounts, but even like a $95 loss, 15 more of those and you lose the account. It's really not that bad. That's like nothing for a loss. I wonder why I didn't send the notification out on Twitter. I was wondering why the screen was, or the stream was so low today. It's very odd. Jumping all over the place. Kind of pittered out right here. Yeah, there we go. I can hear you. You had your mic on a little while back. That's why I had you muted. Yeah, but you're all good now. I gotcha. I thought it was 2,500 on the 50Ks. Yep. There you go. Mm-hmm. There's no stat that tells you whether we're taking out the high or low. If you're talking about for the initial balance, and that's whether the high or low forms first, then that gives you the stat you're looking for. The instant, like yesterday, are you asking why I targeted previous day's high as opposed to the low? That's just because it's, you zoom out a little bit and you see, is it likely that we go all the way down to 605, or is it more likely that we make a pretty weak move up to 616? Because we could have developed that had we gone yesterday. Let's say we went all the way down to like 610, then it's looking a little more likely that we could have a move down to 605. But the day before NFP, a Tuesday that's won 7 times in a row for the IB, probably do a loss. Not that likely that we get a very large move up or down, mainly because we had NFP today. So that's why I was just looking for previous day's high. And you can do it for days like Thursday into Friday last week. You can do it based on the trend as well. The trend that we had pre-market was pretty strong. So then you just look for, and obviously there's not really much we could have done. It made that move to previous day's high within the first 20 minutes. But that's all you go and look for in terms of the initial, sorry, not the initial balance, the inside bars. That's all I look for anyway. There's no any rhyme or reason for targeting the high or low on any given day. It's just based on, another really good example was on Tuesday last week. Even though it was, we opened like 5 cents below the high from previous day, and then wicked right to it, and ended up hitting previous day's low all in one go as well. So there's no specific targets for it. It's just like, actually a really good example for it today. Which one of these do you think we're probably going to go and hit first? Previous day's high or previous day's low? Well, we haven't taken out the low quite yet. It only counts for regular trading hours. So pre-market doesn't matter. After hours doesn't matter. You're looking at regular trading hours, high and low. That's why I have those two levels marked out. For today, I would say it's a little more likely that we probably make the 70-cent move up to previous day's high as opposed to making a $5 move down to previous day's low. Yep. Exactly. Yeah, there's not really I mean, it's not like a sound mechanic to go and trade on. It's just giving you another price target. So if we know the initial balance is long, a really good example would be from, I know we took it last week. No, not there. Maybe 2 weeks ago. I guess we don't have one recently. Never mind. Kind of on this Friday, January 23rd. You have the initial balance that you're targeting long to. You know that should be pushing long. So you can add another target onto that trade that is previous day's high. And we did it actually on Monday this week. That's what we did. Monday, we had Friday's high that we were looking for. A very strong move up in the opening candle. Nice pullback. I did end up losing on that pullback, but I entered again looking for both the initial balance high and previous day's high, which both ended up hitting. And you can see the resistance that we formed at Friday's high going into Monday. So it just gives you another price target that you can trade off of. It's not something that you should base your entire opening move off. For the IB today, let's see. We pulled it up. Yeah, I was looking at Tuesday still. For the high, 92%. For the low, 76.7. So you want to see the low form first. If the high forms first, we're going to do the same thing that we did yesterday. Oops, not take the trade because it's too high of a stat. Tuesdays, we did. I did end up taking it in the afternoon, but I was on an eval, so I didn't have the same thought processes behind, or as I would on a funded. But this was at 90% yesterday. That's why we didn't take it during stream. And I mean, it was hindsight. It was a very smart decision because we broke on SPY, did not break on Qs, and then this ended up kind of just pittering out for the rest of the day. If it correct, if it forms the high first today, I'm not going to take it because it's way too high. Going back to a Wednesday, and what you can do on these days as well. I like scrolling. So we see it's 92. I like scrolling down to the data plot table, and this will show you each Wednesday for the past 6 months. So we had 0204, and I'm just going to count the high lows, and this shows you win streak. So high formed first, the low broke first. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's at 5 wins in a row. So it's on a 5-win streak. Obviously, it's not any different than flipping a coin and having it land tails 10 times in a row, but you're probably not going to want to, even though it's an individual data point, you're not going to want to guess tails after 10 tails in a row, right? Just for probability standpoint. Even though it's still 50-50 on that 11th row, and I guess this might be a bad example for this, even though it's still a 76% chance, so 3 out of 4 for this 6th one, 5 wins in a row, it's probably, and this is only if the high forms first today. If it forms next week, then probably still not going to take it. We want to see the low form first because this one is the closer data point. This needs a pretty nasty revision to the mean. Statistics versus gambler's fallacy. I guess the coin flip isn't that good of an example to use, Mark, but it's the same statistical or probable approach, looking at probabilities and knowing that, yes, even though each outcome is a 50-50 chance, what you just explained. Yeah. Even though each outcome is a different statistical approach, it's still a 50-50 data point going forward. One, human psychology that's probably not going to allow you to place that same bet. I guess I shouldn't really be referring to the trades as bets, but you guys get you get the point. Mm. Yeah, especially with the move that we had today. I wouldn't, if I was a robot, I'd still take it. And that would work into the loss. But what we did yesterday, and thankfully it was just on an eval that ended up taking the loss on, and the Tradeify accounts have a daily loss limit on them, so I didn't blow them. I actually ended up making all that and back and more this morning. But for that move, why we didn't take it on the funded account, I would, and if you guys were on stream, I was itching to take it. We did take one trade, and I ended up putting the stop loss at break even when we were at $50. But I didn't take it for the rest of the day because NFP said this last week, because we were expecting NFP to be on Friday. Thursdays before NFP, the IB on MNQ, I swear, almost always loses for whatever reason. That Thursday before the NFP each month, the IB, I always take a loss on. So I wasn't going to take it last week. Didn't really want to take it yesterday. Very happy that this is how it ended up playing out. And we actually got a break of the low. So it reset the stats on Tuesdays, which I'll pull up one more time, then we'll stop talking about this. This is a reversion to the mean. This was at 90% yesterday. It's now down to 82 because we finally ended that. It was at 7 weeks in a row that it had a win on Tuesdays. So we finally have a low and low, meaning that that's just a loss. But if you go and count these starting at 0127, low form first, high broke 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then seventh one is, sorry, 6, not 7. So this one was the breakdown here. 1104 was the last time that the IB lost on a Tuesday, which in itself, that's a really good trade that you can go and take. We also, based on what you were just asking right there, Freedom Trader, we also just went and took previous day's high. So that's why I was targeting it yesterday. Same thing as today. It's a lot more likely that we go up and take that level, given that we're 40 cents away from it. In this case, we opened, where was our open for today? So it was a 60-cent push that we just had to previous day's high, and that fulfills the inside bar stat. So this, once it updates tomorrow, this will go back to like 82%. Now, focusing on the IB by rejection, same exact thing that happened yesterday. If we see the high form first for a Wednesday, given that that stat was 90%, this would probably pull back to 84% today. Maybe a little bit lower. But that's just a really clean reversion to the mean, or the average, which is what you want to see. Nice move up on Tesla today, too. So with that sweep that we have of previous day's high, if we continue down and take out the Newswick low, could definitely have this type of move today with what the IB stats are showing us, 92%. Good morning, Khaled. How you doing? Yeah, no problem. But honestly, it's looking like that's probably what we're going to do today, is put it in a high on that wick. Morning, R2. How you doing? This is probably the most backwards week that I've traded since last year. easily since last year, but probably since like April of last year, I'd say, when all that we had the government shutdown and the tariffs and all that nasty stuff. Because we have NFP and CPI switch for whatever reason. I wouldn't it not have made more sense if we had CPI today and then NFP on Friday? They just delay NFP by a week instead of delaying it by 3 days. It makes no sense. I'm doing good, yeah. Good. Tesla on top watch today for a break and retracement of the 5-minute orb. One of my favorite strategies to play on this is that opening 5-minute inversion. The opening 5-minute candle is green, and you wait for the second candle to close, and depending on what the second candle closes, you inverse that. So yesterday we had opening candle green. Okay, you wait for the second candle to close on the 5-minute, and then you go into puts or shorts, which the CME, if you guys saw last night, the CME is adding 50 individual stocks to futures. So we will actually be able to play this strategy now, as opposed to only playing it on put calls. So you go short, and then this one was a $2 move down. Monday, opening candle was red. If the opening 5-minute candle is red, then you just inverse that right away, going long. This one was a move from 409 to 413. Last week, same thing. Opening candle's green, so you wait for the second candle to close, inverse that. This one was a move from 404 down to 402. So if this candle closes green, we'll wait for the second one, and then once that second one closes, that will inverse what you're anticipating for direction. I haven't played that for a long time, but it's a sound strategy. Pretty nasty sweep. That previous day's high right there. Actually, very nasty sweep at previous day's high. NFP Wednesday doesn't have the same ring to it. It's very confusing why we even had NFP today. Let's hope they have micros on the new stocks or futures. James was almost convincing me on CFDs the other day. Because you can risk less than a micro with CFDs, is what he was telling me. Which in the recent market, the recent way the market's been moving, that sounds kind of nice, especially with yesterday was the lowest range we've had, given it was before NFP, but Monday is what we've been looking at on a regular basis now, mainly because the VIX is still trading at 17. Our IB ranges on M&Q have been like 140 to 180 points for half of it, which we can't really do anything with, which kind of sucks. Making like 40-point pivots right now. I'm looking over on M&Q on my other chart. 25 340. Well, 25 360 on the first one, all the way back up to 25 400, and then right back down to 25 340. Immediately back up to 25 380 right now. And that all came after the wick up to 25 460. We don't have any other significant data today. Obviously, NFP will be the largest data point for us. But we do have Friday, obviously, CPI. And then for the rest of the day today, we just have speakers. That's it. We have 3 speakers. Actually, scratch that. 2 o'clock will be a pretty significant data point. Monthly federal budget. That one will have some significance behind it. All the way back down to 25 340. So I guess we very well might go all the way to that Newsweek low. We usually do reverse these moves, but I wasn't really anticipating with how large this one was. $6.15 holding. NFP Wednesday. Does sound pretty odd to say, doesn't it? R2. Kind of just free falling through all these levels right now, too. I think our little last little line of support here is going to be 615. If we can't hold that, then we will be looking for this outcome today on Qs, 92.3. But again, given that this is expecting a loss, unfortunately, if this one does win today, I have no idea what the stat's going to go up to for next week, which is what we kind of don't want to see. For next week, it would probably be reading 96%, maybe even more. So if you guys are not familiar with what the win rate is typically on this strategy, it's usually sitting at about 76%, 74%. So 92%, there we go. There's the frequency right there. So of the past 13 that we've had, only one of them has lost for a Wednesday with the IB high forming first. So if we go to 14, and then this goes right back down, actually 6 months. It depends on when we had the last loss, because this might actually stay at 92%. Let me go to the past year. There we go. So you can see just how many wins we've had in a row on a Wednesday. 13, and it had 1 loss over the past year. 23 outcomes, it's had 6 losses, which gives it that average at 74%, which is about where it should be. So the past 6 months, the trend has been win, 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 win. And the last loss that we had in the high was 1126. And then before that, 813. So what actually it will stay at, if it wins today, this will stay at 92%. Surprisingly. Or it's going to have a whiplash effect all the way right back up. That'd be cool. That sucks. I was just looking at a long on Tradeify too. Just on those evals from yesterday. Thankfully, I got them all with that NFP move this morning. I got them all the way back up to 50,800 right now. That's slippage. We did have Walter Bloomberg posted. I'm trying to find it right now. Walter Bloomberg posted something this morning regarding tariffs. Where is it? It was super early this morning. There it is. So Trump considers quitting his own trade deal. So President Trump is privately weighing whether to exit the U.S. Mexico-Canada agreement, the trade pact he signed during his first term, according to people familiar with the matter. He asked aides why he shouldn't withdraw, though he had not made a final decision. White House and trade officials say he is keeping options open while seeking tougher terms. So that would give us a little flashback to our tariff era of April last year. Are you waiting for a pullback to enter longs today? I will not be taking shorts if the high forms first. Like right now, we have the IB high established first. We don't have any data after NFP. I think that what's going to happen is because of this 92% stat, this is 13 weeks in a row that it's won essentially. 13 out of 14, it's had a win. This is what should happen on an average data point. 13, 10, 3 losses. So it's a 76% win rate across the board, not a 92% win rate. So it's definitely either this week or next week it's due a loss if the high form surges. So for today, what we can do, and I should have done it yesterday. I don't know what I was thinking. Yesterday, we missed the IB high by 20 cents. Given that the stat was at 90%, what I should have done was I should have gone short within 10 to 15, 20 points from the IB high. And I might try the same thing today. We'll see how it works. I'm not going to be shorting it. SPY has about the same win rate, 85%. So this one is also due a loss. 14 weeks, it's had 2 losses. This should also be due a loss, same as Q's. It's not me doubting the data, but it's the same concept as what we had yesterday. If we get within 20-ish points of the IB high, I'll probably try a short as opposed to waiting for the IB to break. In this case, today will be the IB low if we hold the IB high as it is right now. And then the target would be the IB low, which would be a losing trade on it. So that's what I'm going to be looking for today if the IB high holds 617.53. Big if. If we end up going and forming a new IB high and have the low form first down here at 25,340, we've already made a 100-point pullback right now, which is kind of crazy. But if we form a new high, then I'm going to be anticipating a break of the high because this one's at the average. This is 76%. And I think 1 week where the IB does not form the high first and then goes and breaks the low, this will also reset it back down to 90, maybe 88%. But what I'm going to be anticipating today is probably something like this. And if we end up taking a loss on it, the beauty of it is our risk reward. So let's say we took that same trade yesterday. Our risk, and this is the 1030 candle right here. This is once the IB was formed yesterday. Our risk would have been, if we had an ideal entry at the top of this candle, it would have been 8 points, 6 points actually. So we're risking $12 to make 480. That was what yesterday would have yielded because it was a 240-point drop to the IB low from the IB high, or where that ideal entry would have been. And again, that's not me going against the data. That's just knowing that this should have a correction or a corrective move on the stats coming up here soon, as opposed to taking the trade at 50% of the IB. And that's what I did on the evals yesterday. I ended up taking a loss because of it. And it was stupid. I was up 1,800 on the evals. I should have at least moved the stop loss up, but I really wanted to pass them in one go. For the move today, if we get, so our current IB low is 25,330. if we get to like 25,340, that's a 10-point risk. That's $20 on one micro versus our reward would be all the way up to 25,460 if the IB high breaks, which we'd be risking $20 to make $400. That math might not check out. Sorry, $20 to make 250. So we'd have a 10R on the trade. I do think with it being a 92% stat, this is what we're going to have for an outcome today if the IB high holds right now. Edging towards London 50. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot to draw that in today. London 50 is still pretty far down there. 613.56 means another dollar. For next week, because 14 data points hold over those 6 months. For next week, it would be 1 divided by 14 for the win rate. It would be a 93.6% win rate if the IB high breaks or the IB low breaks first today. Not saying that I'm going to take it today, Waldo. I'm just saying if it happens, this is well overdue for a loss as is. But if it happens to break again today, it's going to be 93.5, which is to the upside. I'm not saying it's going to happen today. I'm saying that the stat is vastly skewed right now. It should be reading 76% instead of 92. That's what I'm saying. Hopefully we go and make a new IB high because then we can take the actual setup today. If not, then we're going to try that high risk, almost no reward trade. Which, could you guys imagine if we had hit that yesterday, if I wasn't being silly and we had taken shorts on Qs? Yesterday would have been a $12 risk to make $400, whatever that risk reward comes out to. What trade copier do I use? It is the built-in one on Tradeovate. So if you guys get any accounts on Tradeovate, go into the top right, it says application settings, then go into add-ons, scroll all the way down to group trade right here and activate it. What's to say the 76% shouldn't be 90-ish percent? The past 5 years of data is what says it. So that's over the past 6 months is why it's skewed to 90+%. But over the past 5 years, once it loads here, it is a lot of data to collect. So this one shouldn't be that fast. Once it loads, there we go. So this is what the average is on a Wednesday over the past 5 years. And this is what it should be. 128 outcomes. And it's about the same for both of them. 86, 91 wins, 38 losses, 37 losses. Thanks, but that one does not enable brackets yet. If you use Copy Trader, if you use the Copy Trader on, so first off, if you're using Tradeovate to trade, you cannot have the brackets if you're copy trading. And if you go and link it over to your trading view, and you want to trade on that, you also cannot have those bracket orders with all the accounts. It's either one account with bracket orders, and then you have to get a third-party copy trader, or you do what I do, and you just leave a stop loss in, so you don't have to worry about having one of your stop losses or take profits filled after you're out of the trade. So what I always do is I'll set my buy limit. So let's say I want to go long down here at 25,250. I will only ever set my stop loss. So if my stop loss is 40 points, I will only ever set one stop loss. I will not set a TP. because I've made this mistake several times. I made it 2 times, I think, 3 times maybe. Plenty enough for me to learn from. If you leave all 3 orders in, so you have your buy order, you have your sell stop, and you have your take profit. If your take profit hits, it does not automatically close your sell order, your sell stop. So let's say you hit your TP, you're up 200 on the day, and then price news comes out in the afternoon. Price shoots all the way down. It fills your sell stop. And then if it bounces, you will have an order filled at 2 o'clock in the afternoon that you had no idea you even set. So I only set stop losses, and I manually close all the trades I do with the copy trader on Trade-of-8. I'm sure they'll eventually add like what Project X has with the OTC orders on copy trader effective. But your new evals, what firm are they, and why switch to the 50Ks? It's on Trade-of-8. Not Trade-of-8, Tradeify. And the reason I have those is because Tradeify doesn't have any 25K accounts. It's the only reason I went with the 50Ks. That's the only reason I went with the 50Ks. The 25Ks are so much easier to get payouts on. I still have my Lucid accounts as well. Let's see if I can log into these ones real quick. So these are the 4 accounts I have right here: Apex, Lucid, My Funded Futures, Tradeify, and those ones are definitely the top in the industry right now. I still have the 25Ks on Lucid. I just haven't really been trading on them much. They're at 25,358 right now. But these ones are 25Ks. The Tradeify accounts, those ones are the 50K growths. On the 50K, how much do you risk per trade? I just double it what I did on the 25K. This was my comeback from yesterday. Not something that I would suggest, but I had longs. I had 16 M&Q long yesterday because I wanted to pass it in one go, stupidly. And I forgot they had a daily loss limit on it, which actually saved me in the end. So, but these ones I had longs at 50%. I was up like 1,800 at 25,398, and I just never secured it. Ended up flipping on me. But it is what it is. The daily loss limit on those saved me. Still have them. How come no 25K take profit traders? I will go to those eventually. I have this weird thing where I cannot trade more than 3 accounts at a time. I really struggle with trading more than 3. 2 accounts I'm A-okay with. So if I was on Apex and Lucid right now, fine with that. If I start trading Apex, Lucid, and Tradeify, one of the accounts, and this is why I've really just been focusing on Apex for the past couple of weeks because I do not want to jeopardize this payout. If I have 3 accounts going, one of them gets pushed to the side, I always end up blowing it. It's not because the trades are any different. It's just because I will forget that I had an entry on that. And I'm spooked about using third-party trade copiers because, yes, everyone says that they're fine for the most part. There's London 50, by the way, Woke. So we're getting our high-low form first. I do think we're still I'm going to go for the big play today. I will not be taking the trade to the IB low. I'm going to wait for price to get just barely. Look at that reaction off London 50, by the way, Woke. It's an immediate dollar bounce off it on a 1-minute candle, too. So that was 25.3 as well. That was like a 40-point bounce in a minute off London 50 to the cent. So what I'm going to do, first off, we're going to go and draw in our London 50. Not our London 50, our IB 50. This is the plan for today. Because I called it pretty well yesterday. I did not execute on it. Today I want to execute on it. Our IB range right now, 25,460 down to 25,3. So 160 points, 165 points. I'm going to be looking for price to get right about here. So once we hit that yellow line, I know it might be a little difficult to see. Let me get a better horizontal line here. Obviously, we're going to be waiting for our IB to form as well, so this isn't going to hold up quite yet. Get that in there. Oh, man. I will admit the UI for Tradevate and the indicators that you put on the chart, terrible. So we're going to be looking for something like this to play out today. Oh, man, I almost just hit sell limit on accident. We're going to be looking for price to get right about there. So if the IB low stays at 25,289, we're going to look for like a 10 to 20 points is what I'll risk on this. And then our TP is going to be all the way up the IB high for today, 467. That's what I'm going to look for. Even if it 10, 15, 20 points, that's where our risk is going to be. So $20, $30, or 40 on this position. Hopefully, we also don't get a retracement to 50%. Same exact thing that we did yesterday. The IB looked like it was going to break on Qs. Looked like it was going to break on SPY. SPY also... I have too many weight lines on here. Way too many. So we want it to stay right about where it is right now, and then we want to go long. The reason we're not going long yet, I usually don't do this, but I am going to try same exact concept as yesterday. It's just inverse. What about shorts to IB low but exit earlier? You definitely could. But for the shorts, remember, you want it to retrace to 50% anyway. The only reason this play is viable is because we're not going to have any significant risk to it. Our risk is going to be 10 to 20 points, ideally. So the IB low right now is at 25,287. If it's at 25,3, perfectly fine with entering there. If it's at 25,290, happy with entering there as well. That would be a 3-point risk. What stat would that be? I'm not looking for shorts, no. Believe it or not, the trend is also still to the upside. Even though we just had this nasty pullback right here, our trend from pre-market, even from overnight, this is our trend right now. Even though it's broadening, we're still making higher lows. We're still making higher highs as well, especially with that wick that we had into open. London 50 is working beautifully. If anyone took that today, congratulations. That would have been a really good entry right there as well. I think London 50 should have played out. It looks like it's a little bit lower on SPY. No, actually, it's not. It's at the same exact level. Go London 50. That's beautiful. So again, guys, the reason that I am looking this way, the reason I'm anticipating a move back up, a V-shape back up, this is the win rate on Wednesdays over the past 5 years, over the past 6 months. This is the win rate for Wednesday. It's not a valid win rate. This just means that it has been very streaky for the past 13 Wednesdays. But it should read more like this with the IB low. 13 Wednesdays, 10 wins, 3 losses. Same for SPY as well. SPY's had 14, 2 losses, as opposed to this one having 8 wins, 4 losses. So we want the lower stat, not because we are so overly thrilled with how good the IB is, and the IB never loses, it will lose. Trend is still up so far. Either way, we're either not going to have a trade today, or we're going to take this long shot trade. And I know it sounds a little odd, but this is another kind of thesis you can add into the IB. Same reason that I avoided a loss on it yesterday. So even though it is a 76% win rate over the longer period of time, you can avoid losses like this by avoiding these super high data points, 92%, 90%. The only reason that I found this is because I blindly, months and months and months ago, I blindly went in with the IB. And believe it or not, I was stupid enough to actually go in with size. So when I saw the IB sitting at 90%, 92%, I was thinking to myself, oh, this is going to hit 100%. Only 8% of the time this is going to lose. Are you kidding me? So I would go in as opposed to 1 to 2 micros, I'd go in with like 4 to 8 and end up taking a massive loss because it would go all the way up to the IB high or the IB low, depending on which one I was anticipating the break. London 50 at 40 points, didn't take it. I was done before market open. Oh, you took some NFP movement, didn't you? Where would the TP be if I went long in the London 50? TP is wherever you're green. I definitely would have taken it at 40 points, even with 1 micro, $80 in less than a minute. That's how long that wick was. So that first reaction off the London 50 right there at 9:57, it bounced up 40 points within that 1 minute candle. So it was actually like it was sub 60 seconds, probably like 30 seconds to make $80. How do you define the London 50? London 50 is just the pre-market range, 50% of the pre-market range. So pre-market low to pre-market high. Low was 5 a.m., high was at 8:45, and then you slap the 50% market on that. And that's your play for the day, or that's your significant level. It already had a reaction, and then if you did take it again right here, it would obviously be a loss. But with that first reaction it had on that 1 minute time frame, probably, and this is the difficulty that comes with looking at it afterwards, I probably would have secured the 40 points, or at least at the very least I would have trailed the stop to break even on it. You said pre-market started. Yeah, it's the low and high that forms pre-market. The low wasn't at 4 a.m. this morning, though. The low was at 5 a.m. 4 a.m. is the open to extended session for New York, the pre-market extended session, but we opened at 6:12:51 when we made a low at 6:09. I'm gonna leave this arrow drawn in today. Again, if we end up losing on this one, it's okay because we're going to be risking 10 to 20 points. And if it does end up taking the IB low, we could do the same concept for next week as well. But I think everyone should be A-okay with the concept. This is going to be a 200-point range right now. The IB still has 24 minutes to form. For instance, right now, the low is at 25,264. If we enter right now, it's at 25,276. That's a $20 risk for us to possibly make 400 on the move back up, and that's on 1 micro. The only reason I'm going to be taking this is because of how high of a risk reward it's going to be, which if we hold to the full TP on this, if it plays out how I want it to, if we hold to the full TP, this is going to be a world record risk reward trade. Full TP on this would be either 20 or 40 R. Did ICT retracement and maxed out my consistency and done for the day? There you go, DV. What about shorts the IB low? I already answered that one. Did the same strategy playing options that played well. Let's look at how did Tesla do that for that 5 minute. Still worked out. Missed the bigger move, but this one was opening green. 5 minute was red, so you inverse that 5 minute red, and that went from 433 up to 435, 436 just about. This might be a phenomenal trade coming up here, as we just swept the Newswick low as well. Look at the slippage on M and Q. QQQ just swept the Newswick low. Clearly swept the Newswick low. MNQ is not even close. MNQ is still off by over 20 points. So that's 20 points of slippage today. Newswick low has been swept. What are the stats for the 15-minute orb double break that would provide more fuel for a long from here? Let's see. Opening range breakout, custom, double break throughout the day, save. Double break chances about a 50-50 today. Looks like 45.67%. It's pretty good. So we just barely swept it on M and Q just now, but that is, look at the slippage on Qs today. 612.06 is the low. We're another 50 cents below where that Newswick low was, and M and Q is just now hitting it. Just now hitting that Newswick low. So this is over 20 points of slippage on these two charts right now, which is another great reason to chart on QQQ. I think MES is probably about the same. Actually, no, MES doesn't have nearly as much slippage today. M and Q, though, that's horrendous. The two outcomes today, one last time, two outcomes. We're either going to wait for price to retrace, and we could try a short. I'd much rather wait for that 1030 close, and we're going to go and try a long off of that 1030 close. So whatever this candle puts in for the low, we want to see it do what it did right here. So it makes the high. This is obviously it's going to be inverse, but makes the high. We inverse it a little bit, retrace down a little bit. This one puts a wick in that almost hits the IB, misses it, and then continues lower. What we will have time for as well, if you guys have noticed all week this week, that 1030 breaking candle on the IB, even last week, like right here, we took that same trade on Thursday. We took shorts on this one, but this one took 30 extra minutes to play out. This missed the IB low by maybe 4 cents. So there's plenty of time for us to get into this trade. It shouldn't stop us out too early. And then we should very easily be able to set the buy order and then set the sell stop right below that level. I know your system has fixed targets, but what's your biggest winning day lately? Honestly, I haven't. My biggest trade, I'll pull up I have a screenshot of it on my phone. Hold on. I took my first loss in 13, or first red day in 13 days yesterday. So my biggest win over the past 2 weeks was 493, and that was on the 29th last week. Oh no, not 2 weeks ago. Never mind. So that was right here, this big move down that we had. I made 490 on that day. And then since then, haven't really been presented that good of a movement, especially the Friday to follow that. That Friday I was on stream with Andre and James. That one was awful. No trades on that day for me. Last week, my biggest day was like 118, I think. But I will always say this. Always, always, always. The market is what gives you your moves. The market's what gives you your big days, not going in with size on days that the market's not moving like yesterday. Today, if this trade plays out, this is going to be a phenomenal day. Phenomenal day. It stuttered up there a little bit. It's going to be a phenomenal trade for the day if this plays out, that is. I'm looking forward to. So we have another 15 minutes. We're going to be looking for this to establish a wick that is hopefully like 25,146, 25,150. The IB low is 25,142. Am I going for shorts or longs today? I'm either going for nothing or I'm going for longs. Longs or nothing. I'm looking for this to play out today. It's a little less likely in my eyes now because of how large of a range we've made. Yesterday, I guess it's not too far off from yesterday. Yesterday was still $5. Today's $7. So, I mean, it's still possible. This one would be even bigger, though, now. That would be awesome. Our IB range right now is 320 points. So if we do get our entry, we're going to be risking 10 to 20 points here. And our reward is going to be 300 points to the upside. $600 on one micro. And then if it ends up breaking the IB low, so be it. We know that was a sound thesis. We'll risk. I hope everyone in here is okay with risking $20 to $40 for this type of reward. If we end up losing, that's either going to be, thankfully I'm already up from last night, but for you guys, it's either going to be a $20 to $40 red day, which you should be A-okay with. Or if you're up already, do not go into this with size. Don't go into this with one mini thinking that you're going to either lose $100, $200, or you're going to make 10,000 or 6,000 because it's a 300 point move up. $12 minutes to go. That was a bad one. You guys notice how I'm not longing while we're dropping? I have a very sound plan with the trade that I'm getting into, as opposed to not being in belief of this move to the downside. If you want to be profitable with futures, each trade that you go in needs to have this type of thesis associated with it. So we know within the next 12 minutes, this is going to either make a new low, which it ended up just doing right now. This is either going to make a new low, or we're looking for price to get within a couple points of the low that's established, and we're going to set a take profit that is all the way at the IB high. We're going to set a stop loss that is at the IB low. I know it sounds really odd considering that we always take the IB for what it's presented, but same exact thing happened yesterday. And I'm not basing this just off of yesterday. This is a thesis that's been running for weeks now. I don't have an outcome recently that I can pull that's as similar as it was yesterday, but we're looking for price to get a couple points away from the IB high. We know that it should pull back all the way to either the IB low, or at the very least, we get a pullback to 50% and we capitalize on like a 140 point trade. The main reason that I am not looking for it to break the IB low is because this is well overdue a loss. And it could be me just calling BS on the data, thinking that it's not really going to play out. I think this is more so in line with a very sound thesis with a massive reward on the table as well. Because I'm a little regretful that I didn't do that yesterday, but it's okay. The only thing that I don't like about it today, oh my gosh, boys, come on. The only thing I don't like about it today is that we have a much larger range than we did yesterday. Uh, 9 minutes to go. I think we got a lot. Last NFP, I think we got a nasty V shape back up too, didn't we? We're looking for January 6th. I think it was on January 6th. Tuesday. Well, this one wasn't that nasty of a reversal, but it was. We had NFP January 9th. Sorry. This was our NFP move. We went from 622 to 624, opened at actually reversed the whole move in the open already. Went all the way down to 619, so a 5-point reversal, and then we did end up V-shaping once the Newswick low got taken out. We shall see. We've got 8 minutes left. Looks like Trade is acting up again. Don't tell me that. Don't do that. I pray it's not. One of the posts in, where was it? Lined up with something we were saying not too long ago, but one of the posts in Tradeify's Discord I'm looking at right now was referring to the volume of customers that Tradeivate has now. The Top Step's kind of gone way down the drain. Because if you think about, Top Step said they had, last month they said they had their highest concurrent, December, sorry, not last month. They said they had their highest concurrent user base at 140,000 active traders, which is ridiculous to say that there's that many people trading at one time. So I'm assuming with how far down the drain Top Step has been going recently, they have lost a significant amount of customers, and all those people are going over to Tradeovate because they have nowhere else to go. And then on the same note, especially with a day like today, I can tell you guys with the, because this is data backed kind of, with the affiliate codes I have, I can see I get my phone blows up when people go and either reset or they buy new. Back Doc Hub. When people go and buy new accounts or they reset their accounts, I get an email for it. And days like this, days like yesterday, I usually get them at like 2 in the afternoon after a move down like this, because the chop's pretty hard to blow your accounts on. From personal experience, people blow their accounts a lot more when the chart's doing something like this, because they're in constant disbelief that the move is going to continue in that direction, which I do feel a little guilty of today, that I want to go long. How far do you think the Qs will recover? Well, it's either going to take the eye below today, which the lower it goes, the less I want to take this trade. I'll probably still try it. It's got 5 minutes left. At the very least, we catch like 100-point reversal back up. How many points above the eye below are you planning to get in? 10 to 20 points. And that's the only risk. That's the only reason I'm doing this, is because the trade is going to be risking 10 to 20 bucks. Sorry, not 10 to 20 bucks, 10 to 20 points, which is $20 to $40. So our entry is going to be looking, IB low is at 25.64 right now. We're going to be looking for an entry. Can I duplicate this? Yeah. Oh, there we go. I can actually do that. Save as default. So we're going to be looking for an entry that's between these levels right here. Those two lines. Anything under, actually, I'll just get rid of that one. Anything under that white line. I'm on Lucid Discord and they're talking about it. Man. Top Step added trailing intraday drawdown into their accounts. Can't even gamble on them and make over 5K in a single day. And the Edge Top Step ad was the 50% profit payout with 10K cap on the 50K accounts. I was in shorts a few minutes ago. I was in shorts a few minutes after open and got stopped at break even before it started this dump. Now I'm fighting the tilt. Yeah, don't give into it. Tradeovate's down again. Top Step is attacking them, I swear. See, Tradeify's Discord usually has pretty quick updates on it. I'll go check theirs. Doesn't look like anything's in there. Doesn't. Hello, I'm from Romania. Today I experienced a problem with Tradeovate and opened up a ticket. See Lucid. Lucid's website's down again. Maybe that's what they're talking about. But what I was just saying, there's days like this, there is a crazy amount of volume that comes in on prop firms as a whole. Like, so many people, they will either miss the move and get mad that they missed the move and try chasing it down, and then they end up catching the one pop that it has, or people will not believe that the move is real for whatever reason, and they will constantly go long the entire way down and then end up blowing their accounts. And then with how fast you can go and reset your accounts, on Lucid, Tradeify, any prop firm really. How fast you can go and reset your accounts, and then you end up getting right back into longs because you think you're going to miss the V shape back up. It's a terrible mindset to be in, and something a lot of people end up finding themselves in. But you can combat it. It's a 50-point pop so far. We have 2 minutes left. I'm probably going to try. Here's what I'm going to do, actually. I'm going to set a sell stop. Once we get this order, I'm going to set the sell stop first. I'm going to set a sell stop, and then I'm going to put the buy order anywhere under this white line. Obviously, the lower the order is, the less we're risking. We've already had a 60-point pop off of this. If we wick all the way back over London low, that would be a tragedy because I want to catch up. I want to catch the move up. I know it seems kind of odd coming from me, considering that I always trade the trend. Patek tweeted last night that it was a lie. That guy's a, yeah, not so nice word. It wasn't a lie that they have Top Step as trailing intraday drawdown. It's the fact that they either didn't think that people were going to read into it, or they thought we don't need to proofread this before we release it. Either way, it was on their official website that they have intraday trailing drawdown, and then they came out and fixed it because so many people were outraged by it. Happened to me before. I keep on DCAing, blow all my fun did last time. Yeah, it's a terrible mindset to find yourself in. The only reason that I'm accepting of what I'm about to do with this trade is because we are taking it with a sound risk. There we go. We're under the line right now. So, oh man. I'm going to try that limit right there. And then I'm going to put the sell stop right below it. So it's 10 points right now. Could up it a little bit. I should have been a little faster. I'll put it at 25.70. Top Step thought everyone would switch to them due to Project X, and it backfired on them. Yeah, big time. Actually, I'll leave it at 67. We're going to risk 10 points on this. So I have a long order set at 25.67. I have the sell limit, the sell stop on that at 25.57. A little sad that I wasn't a little faster on the trigger there, because this would already be 40 points right now, and then we could completely de-risk. You trying to catch a reversal? I am. KP said you're in at 25.82. Make sure you get your stop loss to break even as soon as you can. I can't believe I missed that entry. I didn't think it was going to wick down that fast. Don't do me like this. Don't do me like this. Nah, man, that's 60 points already. How much are you risking, if you don't mind me asking? $10. 10 points, sorry. $20. It's coming back. I freaking hope so, man. Nah. Oh, no. I beg you, don't do me like this. Just drop Drop one more time for me, please. I fear I may have missed my opportunity. Hang on. Damn it. Damn it. I mean, could not have been any better than what just happened had I gotten my entry. That's a 70-point move up already. Love your effort on our behalf. I have to go to work. I am long from 80. I can't believe I missed that. That wicked to 25.67.5. And it is now up at 25.150 for high. 25.130, sorry. Oh no. Nice call. Thank you, Roland. Nice execution. You're a sick man. You're a sick man for saying that to me. Too soon. That's $140 on one micro. Well, I missed the trade. Time to go all in. Tilt my accounts. Lose the 30K payout. Go do it. I'm devastated. I'm so sad. If this doesn't come back down and fill me and then immediately push back up. Oh. Oh no. I read dead ass right now, chat. Oh no. See exactly what I was just talking about, by the way. I got 5 emails just now from Tradeify. So if someone reset their account 5 times, and I have 24 emails from Lucid. So that's 29 resets in the past 30 minutes. And I don't really push my affiliate code out that much either. Oh, I'm going to go cry now. $100. I'm going to cancel my orders because I might cry if I keep looking at this. I think you might be the only one. You might be the only one in here that uses Replicanto R2, sadly. You can ask Leo. Leo's the only other one I know that uses it. Well, if you guys did manage to catch that, at the very least, your stop loss is at break even, but that's a $200 trade on one micro right there. And now it could be a decent short opportunity. Oh man, that stinks. I think the reaction of that move is already done now. So it might not. This might be an IB low break if by the grace of something. I guess I will leave the order in. I'll leave it in that. Sell 20 stop. I'll put the order in at 25.68. I cannot believe I just missed that. I've been talking about it for the past 30 minutes. At least you guys got some. At least you got some. It's a reverse IB high break. How'd you gather that, KP? Well, I've been talking about it for the past hour. I'm so sad. I'm so sad. I don't always try reversals, but when I do, they spike up 100 points in 5 minutes. Would this be a valid crash out, KP? Can I crash out right now? No. What do you mean, no? I want to see a valid crash out. Send me the Danny trades crushing his PC. I'm going to lose it. How do I fumble that? I didn't think it was going to wick to it that fast, but damn. You're at 6K profit over 23 days. That sucks. Blew 12K yesterday. Tilting is a wild thing. It needs to be studied. Man, I'm so sad. Caught 2.4K on the way down, entered the bottom and finished it off. Had a great day. 3K day, can't complain there. Where this can be shorted to IB target, I don't think it's going to go to the low. I think we're going all the way back up to the high. I am kicking myself right now for not getting it. Oh, damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. That's a $240 trade on one micro already. It wicked to 25.67.5 for a second. That was well below my white line, too. You still don't understand why I went for longs? Because of the 92% stat. This is due a loss. The IB is due a loss today. So I'm not going short. At the same time, I'm not chasing it this high up. The play was entering down below this white line. The IB low today is 25.58. So I wanted to risk 20 points on this trade. I missed my entry, and now I'm really going to be upset if this goes all the way and hits the IB high today. It's okay. I'm still going to take the 30K payout today. But goddamn, if this pushes all the way up, I'm going to be very upset. It's $1,500, KP. You're fine. This feels like nothing because I tilted for it. On any other day, if this was at 76 to 80%, I would have taken shorts right now. The reason I am not in shorts Arvin is because it's sitting at 92%. Over the past 13 Wednesdays, only one Wednesday has lost. So I am calling, for the first time in a long time, I'm calling BS that it's going to take the IB low. I think the same thing that we did yesterday. Yesterday, same exact outcome. We were supposed to take the IB high. Yesterday was sitting at a 90% win rate. We're targeting the IB low because it was sitting at 90%. Today is 92%, 2% higher than yesterday. And this is going to be the V shape. It's going to go all the way back up to 617. It wasn't even because I was yapping or anything. I just genuinely missed it. The order, even if I had the order set at 25.67, it missed by like half a point, maybe. Unbelievable. No. It's not a 92%. This is going to be the last time that I explain it. This is overdue a loss. That is why I wanted to long down here where I did. Our risk was going to be 10 to 20 points. It was overdue a loss because the stat is showing that over the past 13 Wednesdays, only one has lost, 12 have won. Same exact thing that we were talking about yesterday on stream. Tuesdays were at a 7-win streak. 7 Tuesdays in a row where the IB low formed first, the IB high formed second, the IB high broke. Yesterday, we formed the IB low, the IB high second, so that would have been 8 Wednesdays in a row. It missed the IB high by 20 cents and then ended up going and taking the IB low all the way into close. The stats are not 92% chance or 90% chances it's going to win. That means that it's on a streak. It's the same exact thing that you do if you go and flip a coin 10 times. If that coin lands on heads 10 times in a row, each individual outcome is a 50-50. Just because that set of data happened to be 100% heads does not mean every time you go and flip a coin, it's going to be heads 100% of the time. We're looking at a very small data set. 13 times 12 of those were heads. That's the way that you can view this. One of those was tails. If you go to a larger data set, even over the past year, that changes from 13 and 1 loss to 23 with 6 losses, which is what the average should be, 73% and 79%. This is over a year. If we go even further out, 2 years, once it loads, then it even changes to a lower data point, 46, 14 losses, 31 wins, 55 outcomes, 43 wins, 12 losses. I know it's not what you wanted, but would you go long on a pullback? No. The risk is too high now. Can't believe I missed that. You size back down to 150Ks. You're so scared now. How many of you in here were able to get into these longs? Let me live vicariously through you, please. KP, you got in at 25.80. I know that, or 82. So you had about a 30-ish point risk. I should have done a buy market. What was I doing? Got it at 95, made some. I always market buy. Yeah, I should have done a buy market there. The reason I'm not going long now is because even though I am anticipating a break of the IB high because the stats are all messed up on the past 6 months, the risk to this trade, if we enter where we are right now, the risk is no longer 10 to 20 points, $20 to $40. The risk would be 120 points for us countering a statistic. So that's a $240 risk for a 300-point reward. $240 risk to make $600 does sound good on paper, but if it loses, then it's not nearly as much of a trade, not nearly worth as much of a trade as it was at 25.67. I'm long at 25.75. There you go, Kevin. No broke in at 25.80 at it. Out for 138 times 20. Oh, you beat me. That's okay. This is probably, and that is exactly what I was talking about. The urge to tilt after you miss an entry on a trade like this, and then you see it run 120 points in the direction that you want it to. The urge on tilting right now is as high as it gets. So I am at a little bit of a struggle mentally, but thankfully I will be able to take that payout tonight. So that's helping me. That's holding me back. What I'm happiest about too is these accounts. Once I take the payout tonight, these accounts are going to have 1,700 in drawdown on them. So I'm not even going to be within the trailing drawdown threshold, and we go back to trading as normal. Pretty nice. I missed a lot of winning trades trying to trying to chase entries and be precise. What's that, KP? I have the Flex Lucid accounts. If I have 50% withdraw at 26.5. Took a short off the feet, 14 EMA stops 30 points. There you go. What we can do is we can go to, let's pull up each weekday this week. So Mondays, I don't think we're going to have anything viable for this. 78%, 83. Mondays actually, if the next couple of Mondays take a high form first, we can take the same concept, but not nearly as good as 92% for today. Let's see Thursdays. Thursdays, I think, are the lowest win rate across the board. 77 to 57. Yeah, Thursdays we won't have anything for. I think today was about as good as it got for that IB. Yeah, shame. If I withdraw 50% at 26.5, would that adjust my MLL to less than 1K since you only request 50% of balance up to 1K and the 25K's payout on a 26.5K would be 750? I don't see anything in Lucid frequently asked questions about MLL adjusting the payout, but Topstep does it. Yeah, it's your balance is your MLL. So if you request 1,000 or 750, then your max loss limit's going to be 750. That's why the flex accounts are what they've been pushing on Lucid because they're a lot easier for people to blow because they don't have the payout threshold. So if you go and it moves your MLL down to for the 25Ks KP, it will move your MLL down to 25.1. So if you would withdraw 750 and your balance is 26.5, you'll have 650 until your max loss limit. This is the first reversal trade you've seen me call. I almost never trade reversals, but great learning experience from yesterday. Rough execution today, but the thesis could not have been more spot on. And even if we do get a pullback to 50%, that's still from the entry that we could have gotten down there. Oh man. From the entry we could have gotten down there, that would have been 200 points to the IB 50. So even if you did want to short it, you'd still just have a 200-point trade. First time reversing IBR is much bigger. The only reason I did it is because the win rate's so skewed. That's the only reason. Do not go and do this on any given weekday. The only reason that we did this today was because it's sitting at a significantly skewed data point. Thanks. I answered on your thesis, made good gains. Good. Oh, that's so sad. I think for this trade too, I don't know what I would have done in terms of dollar amount, so I can't speak too much on that. But had I been filled down there, stop loss obviously would have been at the low, which I don't know why I went. 20 points or 30 points wouldn't have made much of a difference. I should have just chased it up to like 25.80 like you guys did. But I probably would have just left the stop at break even. So none of those wicks would have taken me out. I don't think it even came back down even remotely close. It went to 25.90. That was the lowest wick that it got after that 10:30 close. And now it's at 25.240. It's a 200-point move. 400 bucks on one micro. You mean I can't do this every time the data's skewed? I would say if the data's over 90%, if it's higher than 90%, then you can do this. But if it's like 85 to 86%, then don't go and inverse it just because. Shorting IB 50, no. I'm still going to be looking for the IB high. It's going to be a real struggle this afternoon, I can already tell, for me not to get into a trade, especially after calling this so well and not capitalizing on it. It's going to be very frustrating this afternoon, but I'm going to do my best not to take anything. I think from the stream, there's going to be a great clip, though. I'm going to make a fantastic clip of me missing the entry and then putting my head down after price has moved up 250 points. From which time frame? Last 6 months. The shit's not coming back down. You guys can tell how frustrated I am. I never swear on there. I'm so sad. I'm genuinely so upset by this. I could have gone and posted about my 200 reward on every page on social media. The ICT traders would have worshipped me. What a reversal. Are you still in it, KP? Man, this was beautiful. The saddest part is the only mistake I made today was the fact that I didn't do a buy market instead of a buy bid. So just confirm no IB play today. No IB short play, but I would target longs. SPY is lagging behind significantly, but Q's is leading the way all the way up. Man. I was being a little stingy about the stop loss, and that's what did it to me today. Now I'm going to stare at a wall. I'm probably more pissed than you. I accidentally exited on the 150Ks thinking I was on the 25Ks because you can have multiple windows open on Tradeovate, open on different accounts. Don't I know it? Don't I know it? So this was a 10 to 20 point risk with a 400 point TP. And the sad thing is it wicked to 25.68, which was 10 points from the Ivy low. So it would have been a 40 R on this trade. I really do think it's going to go all the way up to the Ivy high. Don't go and trade this based on the Ivy high though. Like don't go and enter at 50% and then have a stop loss at Ivy low and to take profit at Ivy high. Just watch and see if it plays out. All right, guys, that will do it for, I would say, a very, very good stream. Even though we did not get the entry on it, beyond happy that this played out as well as it did. This is a 240 point reversal to the upside off the Ivy low. Missed it by 10 points. Talked about it for a good 30, 40 minutes before it happened. Just got a little unlucky with the entry. The buy bid did not want to place. But that will do it for today. If you guys enjoyed the stream, make sure to drop a little thumbs up. Tune into tomorrow. I'll be live same time tomorrow. No tilting this afternoon. If you guys missed this trade, or if you want to take shorts on the IB, no tilting. See you guys later.